But this is going to be the part number 3, and it could be also 5, 6, 7, and 10, and 50, pertaining to the ISIS brides, not only to Shamima but to several others that were involved in MKUltra. This picture here tells it all. This picture, see right there, the seal of the Central Intelligence Agency. That's why this is going to be part number 3 of 3, in addition to 2 videos that I testified on. I will now go into details about this stuff here, about this kind of stuff here. I'm going to be talking about this kind of stuff here. But other than that, I actually even thought that I made a mistake when earlier today I wrote about how I had mistaken one girl with another girl. No, I did not mistaken anything. I am so this stuff was done with such a precision that it couldn't be better than what I did. This job here is absolutely immaculate. Both of the girls were involved in a torture procedure. Shemima Begum and Shemima Begum. No, sorry. Sharmeena Begum and Shamima Begum. I cannot, no matter what I do, I cannot memorize properly that name. Yeah, both of them were involved. Age 3, maybe even age 2. There is nothing extremistic about these girls. Not a damn shit is extremistic about these girls. Totally nothing is extremistic about these girls. 0 point nothing is extremistic about these girls. What is extremistic about these girls is described right here. Actually, one is right here and this here. The British intelligence and parents had that biggest impact. But that's the same thing. When we're talking about the parents, we're talking about the British intelligence. This is what had the biggest impact on these young lives. And what I stated here, I could not describe better than I might have posted one more of this one here. This is also where I described this. This is a state-of-the-art stuff that I do. This here, so you want to pause this stuff and read it. This is a state-of-the-art. When you explain how this stuff is done, why they do this, it's always the same shit. It always happens. In a family with more kids, you're always going to have a kid, sometimes even 2, that are going to be sold a little to the state, whether that be Germany or Britain or America or Slovenia or whatever country out there. That's exactly the way this stuff is done. And it's going to be 1 or 2 bros. They're going to be portrayed as quiet, peaceful, you know, working, employed, all that stuff. And that's going to be a 3rd bro or a 2nd bro, whatever the case might be. That's going to be a loner. That's going to be, you know, this is just the way it is. This stuff here. State of the art. I don't have anything else to say. So we're going to title this video. As a part number 3 of British Terrorism Alert. Why should this stuff be of your interest? These numbers here are going to be changed. This is going to be 2 of 3, and the video you're watching now is going to be 3 of 3. Why should this be of interest to you? Why am I video recording this stuff? Well, I'm video recording this stuff because this is not even about the ISIS, you know. This is about you. This is about me. This is about you. Even if you live in Britain, maybe especially because you live in Britain, it doesn't matter where you live. Whatever in the world you live, you do need to understand this concept right here. This one. This isn't even about ISIS, the stuff that I record. This does not pertain to ISIS. This actually pertains to British police. This pertains to the Scotland Yard. It pertains to the MI5. It pertains to MI6. And it pertains to a dung that sits atop of the British state. That's your dear British royals. To whom, and I have the proofs for that too, every fucking organized criminal network in Britain leads to. Why would that be the case? Well, if you're a blogger, if you're a YouTuber, then you already know why, right? If you're a police officer, if you're Scotland Yarder or MI5er or 6er, whatever it is that you do, you already know that your patrons, your owners, they love to stick their butts, actually noses, into business of the bloggers, YouTubers. You know that they preview even every fucking documentary that you British release prior to release. The royal family is one of the families that, through those uncles, aunts, and cousins, and granddaughters, and grandkids and relatives that are all over the Britain, on every corner of the street in Britain. No, but really, I'm serious. Ran by the family business completely. They love to stick nose. They love to see it. They love to know about it. So, man, if they decide about your psychiatric certificates based on you're using even the wrong language on 2 occasions, and they fuck you up in Canada, not only in Britain, and or in Australia. Why do you think that every crime in a country like that is so covered up, is not connected directly to the top of the British state? You explain to me this. So that's a proof. I call this a proof. If you review absolutely everything political, if you know about using the police, every little thug that police wants to get rid of, and so on, and you implicate yourself in all kinds of crimes like this, or you implicate police against certain people for certain things. I watched all that stuff. I was going to the magistrate courts throughout the Britain to testify, basically, to testify. British royals observe trials from behind of the trial which were taking place. Don't fucking teach me about how this stuff is done, because I witnessed it first hand. I met judges, I met prosecutors, I met police bosses, directors throughout the Britain, Scotland Yard. You have Akash Patel that closed one of the buildings where I was brought repeatedly. Apparently there were, 2 other buildings like this. That's FBI buildings, yeah, the real FBI buildings, where I would have a complete access to the certain areas where they would deliver me in order to pose next to me, in order to video record themselves, and so on. Like next to the trophy. I saw it firsthand, and I was involved in this stuff. I know how it goes, what they do. I'm going to put it to you like this for the third video. British royals threatened me, intimidated me with this stuff, and claimed that this is just going to be more and more and more problems for me and so on. Well, I'm going to take my chance. The first one who smelled the issue pertaining to Shemima Begum, Aqsa Mahmood, Shemima Begum, and two other girls. Do you know who it was? It was CNN journalists that traveled to the Syria. Did you know how that stuff was? That stuff was done directly through the British oils. This is the case. An enormous file through which people who were involved in it had absolutely access to any other people around the world that were involved in it. They listed themselves with the certain issues they have, and they have ability to communicate with one another. I don't know it directly, maybe not in all the cases, but if they involved me, they had access to those people. So if I was in the picture, CNN journalists grabbed me, flew to Syria, war in 2011, and it just happened so you had which is the older one? The older one is, let me see this here. This is Aqsa Mahmood. You had her at the time in the Syria, then he would have access directly to her. She was in Syria way before she officially immigrated to... well, wait a minute. She was one of the first UK women to voluntarily travel to ISO. Yeah, she already traveled before 2013. And when she would return with me, I have no idea what airport was it. No fucking idea. Was it through the London that we traveled to Glasgow, or was it through was it at Glasgow, or whichever way it was, whenever we would land? There will be these girls here, other girls that would meet. I'm gonna tell you exactly how this stuff was, so you don't have to guess anything about what took place. There is no need. There's no need for you to wait for anybody to release any kind of files and tell you the modified way, whichever way they want to say to you what they want to. You just listen. You just watch this, and it's everything black and white, everything the way it was. I remember when we would return back to Britain, probably from Syria. And it was not always from Syria, it was also from other countries in the area. I would travel to Syria. It would be always young girls like Shamima, Sharmeena, and there is this other babies here that I mentioned. I don't know her names. Right? There were two other girls. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is this here. They would meet us. It appeared even that Shamima, I'm not sure it was a Shamima. It could be likely that it was Shamina, who also traveled with her on maybe even occasion or two. And that was like a prohibited fruit. It's possible even that Shemima did, I don't know. They certainly were trying to convince me that they did travel also to Syria with her. This was, whenever we would arrive back to Britain, we would be really having a police coming to us. There would be a bunch of these kids that upon our return, it would be, wow, very, very lively. Violence was so overwhelming when it comes to MK Ultra that is fucking unprecedented. Trauma, complete trauma. To Syria, back from Syria, death threats on every few meters. poverty basically, and radicalized Islamic community in Britain. This is the way it was, with also British police that would briefly stop by and even gesture that they know where she was and stuff like this. Well, this is the way this stuff was. This is the stuff that went. This is how this stuff went on. I don't know. I should be the photos that MI5, MI6, the photos which they have with me, with these girls in the picture. Sure, I can demonstrate. You might not only be MI5, MI6, might be. I would be surprised there wouldn't be also a locals in Britain that would have this type of photos. This stuff here, this camp, all this stuff, refugee, this kind of stuff, I have gone through it. I'm actually even thinking that their parents were so involved in this stuff, you know. The picture, they would have me on the picture with them. This kind of stuff. This is like this, probably absolutely around him. Probably I would say absolutely. These people definitely documented me like there's no fucking tomorrow. In Britain, they documented me as hell. These girls, they like to make them so tough. They like to make them so tough. They are not so tough. They are not so tough. They were still women. They wanted to project the tough image and stuff like that. We did have death threats. We did have situations like this. But I would not take this seriously. I wouldn't take any of this seriously. They were talking about something, assassinating me and stuff, but not talking about the men that have projected all the time this kind of vision, but talking about the girl, testing her if she would do it and so on, this kind of stuff. And after extensive bullying, harassing her, I understand that maybe she would have done it. I don't know. She probably is surrounded with the lunatics like this. Who wouldn't? Talking about the Syria. Who wouldn't? I would too. If you don't, you become suspicious. They fucking kill you. This is so wild, this stuff. This stuff was so wild that it's impossible to describe this stuff. Now, this was not fake. This was really mad, the whole thing. Shemima. We have this one here. Actually, I'm looking for. Gonna have to find. He did that. But they have the names of all these girls right here. I made a mistake not to just directly go here. I will explain to you in this video everything. This time I don't want to see. I don't want to see the parents. I don't want to get into this. It does me no good right now, that kind of stuff here. Okay. Yeah, we can do that. I can do that one. I can do this here. I don't get enough I don't get sufficient information about that one. I don't want to get in. I don't want to. What I will do is I will just go. Yeah, they just created some kind of myth about these girls as shit. Where the hell is this trio? Warren trio families, etc., etc. This here, this is what I need. Betal Green trio. Okay, so you have Shamima, and then you have a Kadiza Sultana. I thought that I did list it somewhere. I'm not gonna search for that stuff. Let's go here. That doesn't tell me shit. This here. Yeah, this one here. It looks very similar to the other girl, but it's not. Actually, father, let me get the father. Oh. There you go, that's a father right there. The family right there. And then we have Amira Abase. With this picture they have me. I am on this picture, wherever this was. This she I don't know, but she kept coming back here. Wherever the hell this was, this gate. Okay, they absolutely have me, this kind of stuff here. They have me on the camps, they have me all over with these girls, all over the place. What is this here? There you go. Father.
My message for government is to let the teenagers.
This is all, this families, the entire community that they have. This is so many proofs about me in Britain, all over the place. Syria with these girls, next to these girls, all over the place. Now, one would thought about, what the fuck is this? You know? I did not understand the fucking thing about this stuff. Because these guys were trying to recruit me to go to the ISIS. And, well, I was not exactly the right candidate for the ISIS. I was on my way into the psychiatric hospital, Ljubljana Polje. I went on to claim instead a degree in a lunacy. I was awarded with a certificate of a paranoid schizophrenic in 2012. This is the best way to dispute any claims one is going to make. Not that these people have a lot to do with it, but Mount Everest, they were used for that purposes. The British royals used them. They wanted to kill me. They wanted to kill God in me. They wanted to fucking have me heart attack, die from cardiovascular exhaustion, heart failure, before I would even be thrown into the psychiatric hospital. These are the circumstances through which they got me to the psychiatric hospital. What also makes very, very interesting is, what the fuck went on with this stuff? What the hell went on with this stuff? I have no fucking idea, because these families at times were very nice with me. And they involved the entire community from the area. This is weird. This is what I did not understood. What went on with this stuff? That was so many people back and forth, chew, pow, pow, all over the place with so many people. And It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. British royals definitely got whatever they needed. What they needed, I was like, more priority than ISIS. They don't. The best witnesses are dead. That's just the way it is. And British royals did not want any of me on the picture anywhere. And so the stuff that went on, it might have been even suspicious to everybody that participated in MK Ultra. On one side, British royals posed next to me like they were my friends. But everybody claimed me during MK Ultra. This were really not my friends. Because based on the stuff that went on, it was just, this did not look like a friends. Obviously to everybody involved in it. The most skeptical people expressed the most sincere doubts about their friendship with me. Yeah, and those will be the people like ISIS that will be extremely, extremely unlikely that they would even see themselves in me, that they would even see British royals as enemies of me. It didn't make any sense. As a friend to act in a way the British royals acted toward me. It made no sense. And so, before the psychiatric hospitalization, I'm never going to forget, repeated in my face with a big laugh, the words of the Prince Charles. There's one I'm not afraid of, and that's you. I'm not afraid of you. Definitely not afraid of you. With Harry William laughing in my face. In 2011, the war broke out in Syria. And I was, when it comes to Aqsa was already flying to the most direct connection of the British royals is probably Aqsa Mahmood, because Aqsa Mahmood was literally assisted through the British royals with the flights to Syria, to the Mid East, when she was really 16, 15, maybe something like that. She would take flights, maybe even when she was 14, would start to take flights. With British royals gesturing that they always try to help, and also people go back and that kind of stuff. Actually, I think that she started to take flights when she was like 12. With relatives, family, whichever way it was. There was all kinds of stuff like this that went on. And later, quite soon after, that the girl is not so good and this and that, and that there is some stuff that's going on and so on. I don't know. That is suspicious, whatever. It was like this, that they are abusing them and so on. It might have been this girl that was actually, I don't know. I have to see this case. It could be that she was flying to Middle East, Syria, already since her age 7, 6, with her parents and so on. I yet have to study that stuff. It does not matter. It's not going to change anything. With the full assistance of the British royals, indeed. You would say they were just a nice people that were trying always to assist, those in need, including immigrants. Really nice that this would be the case. That would be nice, for their involvement and so on, and for their share of torture. A payback. Well, decent from the neutral point of view. Considering myself not as a human being, decent. But once the war exploded, this is interesting, this was in 2011. My God, I had in 2012, year was 2012, and I had in 2011 already This was a journalist for the CNN, from Britain. 2008, 2009, 2010, they traced this development in the Middle East through my case. And in 2012, they started to blame me for radicalization of these girls. The 5 girls involved in this, not only 5 girls, but that I'm the one who is radicalizing Muslims in Britain, that I'm a radicalizer of the Muslim community in Britain. So that Charles was using his CNN, that's actually a Central Intelligence Agency, to make me look like the one who... This shit did not start in 2011, 2012, sorry. In 2008, like I stated earlier, they started to already pressure me that I'm radicalizing the community and that they know all about what the stuff that I do in Britain. That I'm trying to cook the war in the Middle East. That I'm radicalizing girls and stuff like that. They were giving me warnings in the US. And in 2012, I had the journalists popping up, American journalists popping up in Syria, meeting, already seen around, meeting people that were involved in MK Ultra next to me, and displaying a very aggressive attitude toward me. And this shit went on also in 2013, and in 2014, and 2015, the 2 girls joined over there in Syria, right? This is the way it was. But I find it interesting because already in 2013, this American CNN journalist started to blame me, causing me a trauma, very severe trauma, for the death of the 5 girls, that I screwed this girl and that I radicalized that girl, that it's all these girls that came to the Syria and so on. And I told you that these girls already flew before in the Syria. And, well, it all ended with Aqsa Mahmood. Aqsa Mahmood was the first one that was flying to, because he was the oldest one of this, to Syria. And what he was doing is, there was also other women, older too. It was not only this. And what he was doing is, I wanted to say, I like the women. I like to be next to the women. I really don't like, I'm a MK Ultra, extremely uncomfortable, and I really enjoy the women's company during MK Ultra. Oh, more interesting to me. For obvious reasons. I mean, what's interesting about this stuff is that the British royals did not make no revelation about through this stuff here. Yeah, they were so happy about how they're gonna fuck me. You know, this is the last thing I'm gonna make. This is gonna be my last mistake. No. That's why this video. In 2013, the British royals saved me, literally saved me from this American CNN journalist who was in Syria and who claimed that we gotta find the solution to this problem that I created. That he is there to help. That he is there to help the girls that I destroyed. That we have to find a solution to that problem. He totally traumatized me. Blamed me for the death of the girls and so on. This was already in 2012. Whatever. This shit built it for like 4 years before I was thrown into the psychiatric hospital. Well, these were the killing fields of Prince Charles. This is how he hunted for approval to get me killed through the psychiatric hospital Ljubljana Polje. This is the type of killing fields that British royals always love to create. They always create the killing field that through which they gain the support through majority, and this isn't the support. This is all based on corruption, basically. You know, they just not love, but it's part of the job. Every murder, every execution, especially like the one against me they exercised, it's always rationalized. They always search for something that it would be, yeah, well, but he did this, and he did that, and he la 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 la. You know what I mean? Always positioning themselves in a role of assistant, helper, savior, but actually slitting your throat. This is British royals. This is basically how they get people killed. They always kill people like in a style of Inspector Clouseau. Prince Charles laughed at me that I'm going to get my father killed like Inspector Clouseau, like, I don't know, in a Pink Panther or whatever movie he was showing me. That was this Inspector Clouseau who never got insulted, angry about anything. He always was in a good mood, and the person that was trying to hurt him always got hurt. As a matter of fact, whenever he would try to even help that person, he would go and he would hurt the person. You know what I mean? And in that sense, basically, this is how British royals, through the comic, through the funny atmosphere, you know, crazy, the whole thing always looked like a charity, like assistance. That's how they kill people. This is the psychology they use, like, for me to describe, like, in details, how they used one on me. And it wasn't one time, it was who knows how many times. Eventually, at one point in time, your health gives up on you and you fucking die on the spot even. It was established in 2015 by this journalist, by this CNN journalist, again, came to, I'm not actually sure, for 2015, might have been that Central Intelligence Agency, yeah, 2015, this journalist was still in the picture, but he got instead, the British got instead, already before. In 2013, the CNN journalist disappears because of his interaction with me. It was too fucking evident about the stuff that went on. I rejected it, I revolted. And then what you see is they got European French, they got French and British journalists in the picture. It's also possible that that Prince Charles did not anticipate it. There will be a CNN that will pop up in his face, practically in his backyard. But all these operations, war operations in the area of Israel, are run by the British. British ran basically from even on the Cyprus they have these fighter jets bases on the Cyprus that are being used to terrorize with potential strikes on countries near Israel. If Israel alone could not satisfy, cover its needs with their air force and so on, it's always a presence of British terror, and you know about the wars, you know how that stuff went in the area. And so they took over. But I say this because I really don't know. It's what is the difference between the Central Intelligence Agency and the British MI5? I think none. Yeah, because even if it's a difference, there is no such a difference between British MI5 and CIA that difference could not be worked between the two parties, right? It's actually crazy to complain one against the other because you're going to always pull the short one, in a conflict. You're going to get fucked, by both parties, and multitude of other parties they're going to involve against you. This is just the way it is. That's how they operate. That's how they get. I think it was BBC, probably 2014 and 2015, and there was some British I should say French also, that appeared in the picture, Syria. And yeah, we already have gone through severe torture in those camps. They had me at Al-Qaeda. Sorry, but ISIS, I should say, in Syria. For like 6 months they had me. And they will keep bringing me. What this girl was, the main girl was this one here. Actually, it was not even Shemima, it was this one here. This one, Aqsa Mahmood, was the main one. This is the main one. And what is it with these girls now? But nothing. These girls are fucking girls, just like girls. Like, you know, girl is a girl. Girl is, they took me to their high schools and grammar schools in Britain, and just girls, you know, girl like a girl. Girl looking for her identity in an environment from, you know, basically radicalized at home, with friends, in a parenthesis, that parents, in a parenthesis, bring closer through certain connections. That's why young people, you have to be very careful the choices that you make in your life. You have to learn from this case of mine. Learn from this case of mine that I say. You know, listen, I witnessed when parents from one of the daughters were interested, due to government requests, British government requests, to connect their girl with another girl in another part of the city or in another city through some third party person, and then share their interests, basically the same shit that they tell them at home, and that's how they associate and that's how they go. But these are still girls. Every one of them looking at me as a potential husband, as an interesting person, looking up to me like their brother and older brother and potential husband, and a dummy, helpless, completely not knowing what to do with me, and then basically figuring out what to do with me through their girly senses, basically. Just young girls. I mean, young boys have one way of doing the things, and these are just the young girls, and so you can imagine this stuff. And this is basically how they get all that other stuff done, basically. That's how they do with the people. This is how they do with the people. So so British intelligence continue to gather more and more crime against me. They get implicated in all kinds of stuff. It's a hardship they suffer. Shemima suffers over there tremendously. And now you have, in 2015, you have a British journalist, probably from BBC, coming and already making a deal with these girls, with all 5 of them. I don't even think it was 2016. I think it was already in 2015. And you see this stuff here, you see what I described, this stuff here, this here. I briefly believe have made a mistake due to no shit. I don't know properly explain this stuff. They were certain that I'm gonna absolutely destroy myself totally by going into the area of this stuff. This was like prohibited stuff. If you're gonna talk about this stuff here, that's when you're done. This is the way it was. Once you're gonna start talking about this, you're done, you're dead, you know? All the British oils, that's how they treated me. Once you get into this is how we win, you know. Prince Harry threatened, that's how we win, that's the end of it. That's how we win. I don't even know, but I wrote somewhere, I don't know where the hell I wrote. And this individual, probably a journalist in a parenthesis from BBC, this is all British royals. This is all MI5, MI6. This is what they come for. They just This is what they come. They don't. This is what they go there for. That's what this is. They what they do is, this is what's interesting, you know. Aqsa Mahmood, you know. I am just going to use her to explain to you, basically. She kept in touch with her family over social media. Arriving in Syria, she had a Tumblr blog and used Twitter account under the name Umlit and urged, this was probably in 2016, terrorists tweeting, if you cannot make it a battlefield, because I know, because you know why I know. Because you know why the fuck I know. Because I think that she planned on staying there. It was, look, I don't think that she, actually, I really don't understand what happened with this fucking Twitter. Maybe they were trying to manipulate me, whatever the case might be, talking about the Aqsa, her family, and the people that she was surrounded with, and so on. But this isn't the point. This doesn't make any point. What makes essence of this stuff is that this is what I noticed, you know, that this British journalist from BBC, he suggested me, he talked to me about which one of the girls, what we are going to do with every one of you. Okay, so this is where it gets interesting. And talks about I really have a problems with this name. Aqsa. Talks about Aqsa as somebody who will not be capable to return back to Britain, and alleges a Twitter account, alleges that she went on to recruit and that kind of stuff. So 2015, 2016, yeah. So I have a tremendous problem with this, because you know, why would you as an Eastern European have a problem with this? Why would you as an Asian or African or a person from non-Western world, or let's say, okay, a white person from the Western world, let it be white, let it be also white. Why would you have a problem with this stuff? But this is a big fucking problem. I told you that earlier, that they threatened me, that this is how they win, right? When I start to talk about these girls, right? A prohibited fruit to talk about this stuff. You know what I mean? Do not talk about. Well, the problem here is tremendous, because royals, again, British royals and British equivalent to Central Intelligence Agency. Yes, also Central Intelligence Agency, because it was implicated. You know, they were the first. And I did not even finish saying that I don't think that the CNN journalist was the one who sparked British interest in these girls. Yeah, this is also the issue that I was thinking about. Who the fuck, you know? But when I consider all this stuff that they were, you know, the stuff that went on, ISIS and British royals have very, very common interests. They were very, very, very brothers in certain areas, in certain aspects. I was the interest they shared. For the ISIS, I was the money. For the ISIS, I was a connection. For the British royals, they wanted me fucking dead. And at no surprise, now let me finish this. At no surprise, I see now a BBC probably journalist breaking down on how, you know, he is there in Syria with me because he's now interested. This was 2015, end of 2015. He's there now to, it might not even be a British journalist, you know. In 2014, 2015, I had a French individuals they dedicated, that he would keep coming in these camps and have me visit these girls. and being tortured over there, where he would do his espionage stuff and collect his tapes, all kinds of evidence, and take back to France and stuff like that. And so, you know, when if you say me that you are there to make a deal, you know, this guy was confessing that it's also the British government, they're not supposed to be like this. He was using me basically to stress out to this Islamic community, presenting himself as a good man, as a good person, that he is there, you know, contrary to myself, to help with the British government, like on behalf of the British government, that he is there to make a deal, that he's you know, the Shemima Begum is going to tell you about how they fuck her like this mentally, they brutalize her like that. There was people that were coming from Britain, and giving her all kinds of offers, that it was already done deals, that that she's going to be going back. I say that they fuck her because Shamima told me that it looked like that she had a nervous breakdown, dude, after that. Because all those initial offers, they disappeared. You know, but that this girl, Aqsa, that they're unsure what they would do with her. And this shit did not stop. This shit still went on for like 2 years. British went on to exploit emotional issues such that I told you about. For 2, maybe even 3 years, from 2000 maybe to even 2018, I don't know. They would keep talking about this stuff and finally made a decision that she could not return back because of these things, but they claimed that all these girls, talking about MI5, MI6, were innocent. Do you fucking understand me? Today when I posted this stuff here, that British, you're gonna have to take care of these girls. Of course you have to take care of them. But you shouldn't be waiting for your royals to wipe their asses with you. With you! Do you understand me what I'm saying? Doing the right thing. Doing the right thing is exactly what it is. It's doing the right thing. But when you consider that you're publicizing about ISIS brides and read about these girls. I haven't read anything about that, you know. What are they gonna do, this woman, anyways? They're not girls anymore. Now they are women. What are they gonna do? They're of no use. I mean, you're gonna give them a machine gun, basically, to get killed or whatever. Doing the right thing is just doing the right thing. That's all there is to it. Don't waste. Don't waste. Yes. Don't wait and don't waste. Don't wait for the field, for the total scum, right from the top of the pyramid that did all this shit, to wipe their ass with you. Talking to the British, I mean, this is fucking awkward. How do you think that I felt when I was told that these girls are all innocent and will all return back to Britain? That they are there on behalf of the British government so they can do the deal. You know what the fuck I'm saying? Except for Aqsa, because she was already on Twitter and stuff like this. Aqsa had a breakdown with this Twitter shit. It was not only Shemima, not Shamima, but Shemima that I would visit in these camps, but also Aqsa, or whatever the hell the Aqsa had me, wherever the hell they had me, I don't know. And she was extremely emotional and talk all about the Twitter and shit, Twitter. So I was told practically, you know, like I have an older father at home for elderly people, as you know. That's another crime they did to me. And This is like I go to the father and I say, let's say that he's going to die today or tomorrow, and I would say to the father, well, father, don't worry about it. I succeeded. I'm a great man now. I have the money. I have this, and everything is fantastic, you know. And father would be, oh, so good for you, my son. So we did something. We accomplished something, you know. It was not in vain for nothing. Well, this is exactly how the fuck they were delivering me back to Europe. They were delivering me in Europe, basically assured that, you know, they already settled this down, that they make sure that girls are going to be okay, that this one is going to be alright, that one is going to be okay. They have me some talk about how they're going to train the girls for their jobs and stuff like this, and that's going to work out basically for everyone except for Aqsa, and Aqsa is going to have to, I don't know, immigrate to a certain place that they had me at some fucking place, I don't know, some restaurant or whatever. Then this is where she's gonna I don't know, own the restaurant, or I have no fucking idea in that sense, you know what I mean, that they are fucking taking care, that they're responsible for it. Shit. In 2018, today I read, they listed her as a dead. You know, British, your royals did a plea, a deal with these girls. Well, you see that she went missing in 2019, she was killed. The deal that they have you, European Court for Human Rights wants Shamima to come back to Britain. It's ISIS bride. This shit was done already based on what I told you, I witnessed to you about. At least 8 years ago was finalized with the British government. So, I understand the confidence. I understand the British royals is confidence. But they purchase the people, you know, buy them fucking out. Then what they do is they flash you with these people to see how you're gonna react and this and that. And by God, that you would make some stupid statement or something like that, they could fuck you more. But this is exactly what this shit is about. Not this is how it is. That's exactly what took place in case of these 5 girls. So what we are talking about here is what is on the internet, and that's basically one thing, and basically the reality, which is something completely out of touch with the reality. Different, yes, very, very different. Okay? So, just if you have a question, if I was there, if I saw this stuff, I've gone through this stuff. British royals did everything possible to get me killed using these girls, using ISIS. I told you this isn't a video about the ISIS. This is about where are we collectively as a human beings, as a people. Because Syria is destroyed, with Israel occupying huge part of the Syria. Some call it even the most important, the most lucrative water resource part of the Syria. Where the fuck are we as a collective humanity, with our collective conscience, heading with this kind of stuff? With people burning the countries, sending people backwards for centuries, and flashing with some kind of issues that have no fucking touch with reality, presenting people like myself as ultimate evil to their communities, and trolling the whole world basically into something that has been already all settled for like 8 years ago. Restaurant business, Aqsa, yeah. A restaurant business. I know about this stuff. I was there, I saw it. I don't know a single person in Britain that would not get radicalized like this. I don't know if Was it not enough people killed over there in Gaza? I mean, you didn't do enough killing. You didn't kill enough Palestinian people in the West Bank. You killed more. You burned few homes more every fucking day. You do this stuff. I mean, where is this as a collective human conscience? Where the hell is this shit going? Me personally, I spend my life just the way I told you about the block, and basically so that I could watch your munchkins fucking around like this from happiness, basically bursting over there, goofy fucks, goofy fuck around. I don't know. To me, this is this like a purpose? Is this like a? But this is basically I don't know. I would not go and comment, because this is just you know. Yeah, this is just it was a promised land from to Nigel Farage, and I don't know. It might not be so promised after all. He is, I think, fading away with the neo-Nazi agenda, because you British, you don't have anybody to hide yourself behind when it comes to my blog, when it comes to the stuff that I do. I pointed out that basically the whole world can see where this whole thing is going, and you're not winning with this kind of politic. You're actually in the midst of quite serious problems, just like the cases with Donald Trump. Is America, the world have seen it. The world had a ability to see how you work, but it's more important for countries that are developed to understand the principles about how you function, how you do with the people. I'm also a human being, you know what I mean? And this is Britain. This is a real Britain. That's why I titled it as British Terror ALERT. It's a terrorism. You British are listed here as a terrorists. When it comes to my case, I list you as what you refer to as ISIS. I list you as a terrorists, especially because of your international influence on Court for Human Rights, European Commission, U.S. Justice Department of State, police, and so on, that you sponsor also against me here in Slovenia and so on. Till you wash your name, till you wash yourself, clean yourself, and it might be for my lifelong that I will have you listed as a terrorist. You will remain listed as a terrorist till you vindicate, till you clean your name, till you prove that you are human beings. Because the stuff I was talking to you about, the bestial torture that I have gone through inside of the ISIS camps, inside of the it was not any better when it comes to Assad and all that. It was torture under Assad. It was torture inside of the Israel. It was torture all over the fucking place. British were paying for whoever was willing to do dirty stuff. I mean, to systematically destroy, kill. Espionage, using that stuff for the espionage. I find it hard to believe that you actually have people in Britain willing to even go in service for the country like this. Your country is a kingdom. I do not understand how the fuck you would even get to recruit people, your own people, at MI5, MI6, Scotland Yard police, because karma is a bitch. It's like a boomerang. The stuff that you do to somebody, at least somebody like myself, this is the stuff that's going to hit you back in the head. I mean, maybe you're so neo-Nazi that you see yourself as safe as far as through your racial purity, ethnic purity, and you believe that they wouldn't do anything like this they have done to me. That's true. I'm not British. I'm just Eastern European here. That's all the hell I am. But, you know, I don't know, man. It kind of sounds familiar to me, this stuff, because your British oils never took any kind of responsibility for MK Ultra and stuff like this. I heard it was other British people that destroyed in a similar fashions. That MK Ultra is actually quite popular in Britain. So it is in the United States of America. So honestly, I don't even understand why you do it. Why is it that you don't come clean about all this stuff? Why do you continue to protect these animals when what the hell are these people for if not for themselves out there? What interests do they serve if not interests of their own? I like this website because it gives me the impression of time. One day I might actually enjoy these videos by, there's just no better way. There's just really the most perfect ways to demonstrate basically how they what they wanted me to view as, pursue them as, you know, during quite really hard, the hardest moments for me in my life. It goes to demonstrate this culture, this British culture, basically how you settle the bills, the differences, and so on. I hope that the world is going to consider this video, that is going to come to understanding that the way you do the stuff, the backstabbing, the treachery, you know, the stabbing in the back, the way you do this stuff, that world is going to consider this kind of stuff, and that people will understand that life is worth to live for, and not for the parasites, but literally to live for. I have not finished yet this stuff. I know what the stuff went on. I know very good the stuff that went on. This kind of stuff, this orders that I was talking to you about, that they were coming. These girls actually were thanking me in late stages of MK Ultra in 2018 and 2019. They were thanking me. They were thanking me for being taken care of. This is why I'm surprised that she still is not being taken care of. It's actually quite shocking, really. It surprises me a little bit that Shamima still was not being taken care of. It's kind of surprising, really. They were recording me. They were recording me simply because yeah, the European Court for Human Rights was involved in this stuff. They were one of the first that rushed to the rescue beginning 2015. That's interesting. 2014, the French guy, all that stuff. The French guy was from the Court for Human Rights. European Court for Human Rights, 2014, maybe even already 2013, and he continued to follow up on them, and through my case they pressured on CIA, MI5, whatever. It might be like this, and also might not be like this. So who the hell knows? To get this stuff done, maybe they were using, maybe the CIA and MI5 were using European Court to do all kinds of stuff inside of those camps where they had them. You know, it's in this kind of circumstances, it's very difficult. It's very difficult even for me to understand, to know what precisely the stuff that went on. You know, I can definitely I can speculate. I can also, I know for the certain stuff that went on, but there is also certain degree of speculation here about certain things. You know, I want to finish this video and I want to say to you, this apartment buildings that this became extremely radical girl, this one here. She became extremely radical, but when she was younger she was not. But behind it all, this is a very logical girl. She was a very logical girl. She became really vicious, but on the other hand extremely intelligent, I would say, witty. That I would not even doubt that she works for MI5 or something like that. She had to be. This is the type of work, you know, from me, basically the way what it was expected is basically for me to go, oh, you know, fucking ISIS, you know, these bitches, you know, and so on. That's what they expected. This is going to come out, right? That's what you guys expected. This is going to come out, whatever. You know, what have they done to me, and so on. Yeah, that probably was using me in Britain when I said that they would do the stuff, all kinds of stuff like this, and they would keep delivering on a picture in Britain and so on, talking about their parents. They don't mind to pose in front of their community and so on, so that one could take notes about it. I think it's had something to do with, you know, MI5, MI6 might not keep the promise. And if you don't keep the promise, then there is this black box that is still alive. And that's what probably could do you a lot of harm. These girls were thanking me for making them possible to get basically their lives on track. I am just really surprised that Shamima is still in this situation. That's rather shocking. It could be, I wouldn't even doubt about, they said that that she was hiring people for Aqsa Mahmood, that she was hiring for not hiring, but that she recruited for the ISIS. It could be well that they instructed her to do, because she might have a relation over there, and I don't think she has. You know, it was also very difficult for her, but it could be, okay. Was there a guy with her back then? I think it was a guy with her. I think there was a guy with her. That state. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you witnessed what British have done to me, together with the Germans, with Americans, to their... I was not their ally. I never was their ally. The CIA referred to me as a CIA boss, FBI referred to me as an FBI boss. They hosted me with U.S. Marines. They hosted me with absolutely all the American military. Traveled next to Biden, traveled next to Trump, traveled next to, you already know, Reagan, Nixon. They had me in Vietnam as a baby. And it's just surreal for me to think about how these people considered me all the way. It's the way they did this stuff behind my back, the way they have presented me to the world through this case, and the crime they committed against me through this case, how far they have gone in a crime against me through also adding this case. It adds up to a lot of stuff when you consider how far we have gotten with this relationship, what kind of relationship this really was, what is the price of American assistance, and what this American, German, British assistance really is, what it adds up to. This is fucking incredible, because you end up in a ditch listed as a neo-Nazi, and the nations such as French, British, I'm not going to go even, obviously I'm not going to go into the German, and American, which were founded on the slavery, they look like they fucking shine, even basically after bombarding list of countries over there in the Middle East. This is like, when I consider about this type of reputation, this type of name these people gave me, so of course they wanted to get they wanted to get rid of me. But when you consider this kind of stuff, what kind of ally this is, what kind of partnership this is, you know, it stinks. It stinks. Lying to me that afterwards, when the case is going to come to an end, this is what these animals did. I will be so sorry for it, because they're going to give everything out about me and so on, and they will report themselves to the police, and the stuff that you will do against your own people, you will hurt us and so on. Do you know how abusive these people were? Talking about the British royals, they presented me through various issues. One of the issues they presented me to myself was as their family of mine. Americans did the same thing, despite the torture, despite most severe torture with the British, with the Germans, with the French, with the Scandinavians, Norwegians. When they would host me, they presented me to, and to the African community and to the Muslim community, they posed in front of one as saints, basically. I mean, what the fuck? But you have to be worried, wherever the fuck you are from, you have to be worried about this kind of criminal attitude. You gotta be worried about this kind of criminal, backstabbing, murderous attitude. You gotta be fucking worried about it. You gotta be fucking alarmed by the stuff like this, how they do it. They basically hire mercenary in Slovenia. That's a Slovenian, through the Slovenian court, government, a police, psychiatry, lifelong unemployment. And at the same time, through the torture. So that basically goes about the severity of the torture to such extent that you would see them as through the less torturous party, as your allies, as your friends. Beware of that kind of stuff. It's not new. This started during what was known previously as the Soviet Union, Yugoslavia. Either way you go, these are shit partners. These girls have seen so much terror. These girls, when they came to Syria and stuff like that, including with their boys, they have seen so much fucking terror that very soon, as fucking crazy as I was, because this is what they, a jucked up dummy from some Eastern Europe, wherever, delivered to the Britain as a salami, basically, a treat, so they could do with me whatever they like to do in return for government favors, whatever. They soon came to realize, all of these girls, all of these brides, that they share one common trait with me, and that's basically fear for being killed. Between the manhood of these ISIS fighters, and that includes, in some cases, their boyfriends, husbands, and myself, who did not know whether the fuck he's gonna live another minute whenever delivered there. They aligned themselves to me mentally more than even when they were young girls. They fucking broke the shit out of them mentally. And they knew that I'm not harmful to them. And they knew that, the stuff they witnessed to, this was for really, really, really insane. That could cost them life and so on. And for me to see this shit here about this fucking Twitter and stuff like this, that she posted in the Twitter, and that she was the Aqsa, that she was recruiting these girls and stuff, I don't know, and ISIS fighters or whatever the fuck. Yeah, this shit can be disturbing from the point of view that this is your national and is displaying this type of behavior, but you did not take you as a British did not take collectively any kind of responsibility towards this people. In a way, they were recruited to Syria. It was your job, your government job. It was your government job that did this stuff. And really writing about this, Farage tactics about... Farage is a poor guy, is just a poor guy. I feel sorry for Farage, I feel sorry for Farage. Through this case, it was all kinds of stuff that started to surface, all kinds of neo-Nazi parties and all kinds of stuff. I became radicalized. I myself became crazy through this stuff that went on. It's not the people that would radicalize me. It was the fucking politicians that we had that radicalized me. Our politicians. When I consider myself, you think I couldn't go and start to recruit people for the ISIS or for the communism or for what else is out there that is on the blacklist, something? Think about me. Think about how far they pushed me. You're talking about the Twitter that she had a Twitter account and nothing. A fucking nothing. A life, basically. Shamima lost 3 children. This girl lost
mom to cancer and stuff. They were losing moms to cancer and stuff like that. You know what kind of poverty the fuck, misery the fuck this is? And you have your government officials coming to play with their sanity, basically, and stuff. For a fucking Twitter account where whatever she wrote about, you know, you're gonna... This kind of reminds of American natives anyways, man. It's like you're in American colonization of US. You would have those Indians and you would give them a Twitter account, and you think they would not go and write on the Twitter account that, you know what I mean? You're fucking doing this in fucking Syria. You bombarded, you fucked the fuck up together with the Russians. On one side you had Russians, on the other side it was your planes who did this shit. What the fuck is it supposed to do, really, when you consider that? ISIS bright, you know. I myself am an ISIS bright. I myself am a communist bright. Look what the fuck you did to me in order to prove your point of view, how you wanted me to... Like I said, just like I stated, man. You're listed as a terrorist. Now you're listed as a terrorist in my case. Collectively, I list you as a terrorist. You are the ISIS. You are Al-Qaeda. You're fucking Al-Qaeda, man. You are ISIS. Till you vindicate your name. John F. Kennedy was killed by the Harvey Lee Oswald, is what they claim. That was the first known case of an individual who went from U.S. Marines, escaped to the Moscow. What the fuck were you doing with that guy? I imagine, based on what is written in the Wikipedia, that you did bad stuff to him. That something went on similar to my case. You know, in all this madness that you created. That's why I say you're fucking animals. You're fucking animals. You're nobody really to judge the people about how they think and ISIS and this and that, you know? You yourself are fucking animals. You compelled me, and you know very good who I am, to actually sit in a fucking plane, as insane as this shit might sound, in 2016, to board the fucking plane after a dozen of political asylums that I filed across the Europe and United States, actually change addresses in the US from Minnesota, Illinois to Washington State, and finally Vancouver in Canada is where I filed a political asylum. And in Austria, and in Germany, and in Belgium, and in Sweden afterwards, and in Norway. Are you out of your fucking mind? In Hungary, and in Ukraine, and boarded the plane in Ukraine for Moscow in 2016. You think this shit is normal to you? Because I was so insane already from denial of the right for me to exist that I planned on flying to the Moscow where I would do the job search. Is this fucking normal to you? I landed inside of the Belarus instead with the Lukashenko. They call him a dictator. The last one. The European last one. All through in Serbia is worse, or just about like this, and it doesn't matter. I don't know how much is really different in, based on what I stated in Germany and in Britain and in other countries, I don't know. But are you out of your fucking mind to bring the people to this state of mind through your constitutional democracy, monarchy, and stuff like this? Is this not fucking animals how they do it? You're listed as a terrorist. Here you're listed as terrorists until you vindicate your name. You don't have to be from Syria or Iraq and I don't have to be from Britain or from America or from Germany to list somebody like you as a terrorist. That stuff can happen too. And guess what? I will speak against you till you're going to vindicate your name. As a matter of fact, if this case somehow is going to come out, I might not even stop talking about it. I might not even stop talking about you. You're talking about those ISIS girls. You portray yourself as a democracy, as a wow, as something. Like, what the fuck are you so different? What are you so... Think about this video, okay? When you talk about the ISIS, when you talk about this, you are so low on the scale of civilization of the human beings, based on my case, that people around the world watching this program rather can laugh to you about the stuff, the way you do the stuff. The way you do the stuff is, where is the democracy? What kind of democracy? What is democratic about you? What is normal? What is normal about you? Yeah, the time came when you British cannot even talk about the fucking ISIS and Al-Qaeda and the terrorist group and whatever, people that live basically in a fucking stone age. They have nothing to live for. But the stuff that you do, your disease that is spreading throughout the globe, I don't think it's beneficial for the world. People dying in Ukraine for your ideals. And your ideals are just not the ideals I imagined when I took them on a path toward promised land, toward freedom. When I started to see myself in you 54 years ago, this started to look more and more a big fucking lie. I don't really believe in that flag right there. I never went there, and by God, I never want to be anywhere near. But the way you're pushing these things, the way these things are going, like this, with this type of politics like this, the way also I documented in this case, it wasn't about only your attempts to convert me to the communist and all kinds of stuff like that, and through hatred, through the degree, the level of crime against me, violence, push me into interracial marriage, rejected of my own race, ethnicity, religion, and so on. This is yet another prime example of how you try to match my profile with your treachery, with your ethics, with who you really are. That's why the world should consider this video. Think about what the fuck this flag really is, and what American flags, what these flags really are, what they present. You're not getting clean through here. You're just really not. Yeah, I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna go into any further stuff.